See, this is the thing. If you know, you know. If you are coming from the United States, you are turista. We want to see cash dollars. It's gonna. This is an economy. And by the way, if you go down there, allow that to happen. And some of you get mad at me because you literally go to Mexico trying to get stuff on the cheap. I get it. All right. But let me just tell you something. I told my wife, we had a guy come on the beach. You know, we're on the beach. They come, the little vendors selling stuff. My wife wants to negotiate from 100 down to like whatever, 20. I said, are you nuts? He's got kids. We're all human beings. Now, if the stuff's not real and it's fakery, be careful. But fuel prices spiked after Russia invaded Ukraine. Oh, my God. Who's writing this story? I got to see what they bring in. Must be an older story. This is autoblog.com. They're legit. After Ukraine invaded Russia, more people living in the United States driving across the border in search of lower gas prices. Mexico's subsidy has been championed by the government. They say the new government of Obrador is doing a pretty good job. I will tell you, down in Puerto Penasco, I was impressed.
Nice.
Meaning organized. You could tell.
It was a little bit smoother down there.
Municipalities were all in good shape. The road's pretty decent. So, I don't know. I felt a vibe like they're putting effort. Where I went down there in 08, 09, I've been going down there for years, where the economy just hits. Like if tourists don't go down to those areas,
so
it's a problem.
You're noticing the improvement that they're trying to make, though, is the point.
Yes, I see an improvement. There's a vibe. There's a feel-good vibe. I speculate. I think some of that's like post-COVID money remnants. Because listen, a lot of you.
That's a good thought.
I know what you did. A lot of you said after the whole COVID schmingy, a lot of you got checks. You had some bills to pay, but you said, no, we're going to Mexico. I'm taking das dineros and I'm headed south. And that money helped that economy. Just like it did here. That free money went south. You exchanged for pesos. Anyway, let's get into driving in Mexico. What you need to know. Now, some of the basics of, you got to get the speed thing is real, people. Miles per hour and kilometers. A lot of you, it's all dusty on your little Speedo. You can't see the KM. Make sure your cluster's working, because if I can tell you anything, if you're going to get pulled over, it's going to be because of speeding. Now, you will see people. They're going to be zooming by. They're in Mexico. I can do 100 miles an hour. If you just follow the simple advice, observe the speed limit. There's a couple more things I'm going to go through. But the speed limit, if you are just a hair, and I've been pulled over because my speed limit was not legitimate over the years, and, that could be a problem. We're going to talk about that. Understand that the gasolina, you're not accustomed. They don't, it's not all by gallons. Have your calculator. I think we divided 16. So if it was 100 pesos divided by 16, that was dollars. And it's not uncommon. Big shot with your cash American dollars, you may pay a premium. Because why is that? They've got to exchange that. And whatever the exchange is, difference in dollar, it fluctuates from day to day, that's a premium. So you may pay more by paying dollars. Just know they'll accept your greenbacks, but there could be a difference. So basic things. You're driving 80 miles an hour, you're driving about 130 kilometers.
Wow.
30 miles, 50 kilometers. So observe it. Everything is, forget U.S. standards, it's metrics and it's kilometers. And in fact, the rest of the world. You go to Europe and so on. Now, some of the more popular tourist areas, they try to accommodate, but Mexico is Mexico. So just be aware of that. 1 gallon is almost 4 liters, and it translates to that. So some of the basics. Now, what I'm going to just cover, like, what do you need in your ride? You got the tunes, you're bumping. You had your local rock star mechanic. He checked everything, including the spare tire. In fact, here's a tip: if you're driving long distance into Mexico, like you're going to go deep, it's best to know somebody, even if you got a known good spare tire. A lot of these local towns, they will have the Lantera guy in the phone number. I saw that more this recent trip than I ever had, which I think is smart business for the guys that do that.
Oh, 100%.
Because you get a flat tire, I mean, what's going to happen? You hanging out with the dingoes. And
You're on the side
wildy,
of the road.
wildy coyotes. And by the way, we saw some pretty healthy scorpions on the beach. Not a whole lot. I did one big guy. So it's Mexico. Don't freak out. A lot of you, I'm not going to Mexico because of this, because of that. No, man, enjoy it. You just got to be ready for it. It's all good. Some of you think I'm crazy, and I'll believe you on that. Toilet paper is a necessity. Even if you're in the Villa, you're in a little town or whatnot, and a lot of you saying, yeah, all right, I got toilet paper. All right, well, just your checklist. Now, copies of registration, not actual registration. Copies of passport. Now, we're going to get to the whole, you get pulled over, what do you do with the policia? We're going to get to that. How do you handle that? And then how you handle bribes, if you should even be doing that. We're going to get to that. Right now, we're starting slow. We're covering the basics. You need copies of all of those documents. Because I tell you what, you lose it or somebody swipes it because they're trying to negotiate for pasta. They want your money. That's a bad day. All right? Now, we're going to get to the whole if you get pulled over because they legitimately can see your original paperwork. And we're going to talk about that. So keep the basics. Plenty of bottled water. A lot of you have this. It's basic. You're laughing because, Frank, I got this. If I've missed something, you get on a wrenchnation.tv. I'll have this show up on YouTube someday. Whenever I get time, it'll be up on YouTube. Put it in the comments. We're a community. I want to help everybody out. You may have a story that I'm missing out on. But those are some of the basics. Understand the basics before you go down. Respect the basics. You're in a different country. Don't go down there acting like a fool. Would that be a number one rule in life? No matter how old you are? Could I mean, can we observe that? Like, don't act like a fool. Now, some of you, you're struggling with that right now. Well, Frank, I'm going to Mexico because I want to act like a fool. I want to go party. I said, that's legit. In the right environment, act like a fool. But if you're down in a country, you need to respect the laws. You need to respect the rules.
Agreed.
You need to respect the way.
Oh, yeah. The culture,
now, that's
everything.
that could be like the way. I would have to bring in some of my posse in here to talk about the way. My point is, you just got to respect a foreign country. I will tell you, I was in the Navy. I got to travel all over the world. A lot of countries don't respect us because we do act like a fool. We act like we own the joint. Now, you can have fun and feel a certain way and vibe, but you're still in somebody else's country. If I remember correctly, 1980s, mid-80s, I did Panama. It was during Noriega. I was in Guatemala. Beautiful, beautiful countries. Panama, Guatemala. Beautiful people. Hardworking people. They have nothing down there. Nothing. Except a bunch of corruption. Stealing from them. We met a lady. I'm going to tell you this story because it's beautiful. And this is what you get to experience when you travel. You don't have to travel high and mighty. You experience the local people. We paid, it was like 8 of us, $5-6 each. She grabbed a pig, cooked it all day underground, did her thing. We came back, and we had a fiesta. Beautiful. They were happy. We were happy. And the takeaway is, when I tell you not to act like a fool, is don't shed your culture with a hammer over someone else's culture, if I can say that. Respect the culture, respect the vibe. Now, don't be a fool by way of scams. We're going to get to that. But I think that's the biggest takeaway. Like, forget the toilet paper and the water. You guys have that. Just respect the way when you travel, including Mexico. How many of you drove up 101, or if you're in LA, the 110, the 8, whatever freeways in your neck of the woods, Miami, North Dakota? And what do we have? For the most part, we have a shoulder. You're driving. If something happens, you got to pull over. If you're my wife, I got to pee. Sorry, honey, we ain't pulling over right now. But the shoulder is for what? Emergency, got to take time out, take that. It's there. Boom. Now, that's it. Don't stop there because you're eating a peanut butter and sandwich. It's not that kind of business, the third. But in Mexico, just so you know, it's a little more than what you think. It's not just, in fact, it really, I mean, it could be. You got to do what you got to do. You got to flat, you pull over. But when you're driving on a 2-lane highway in Mexico, you often see this shoulder alongside the road. And you're thinking, okay, that's mechanical issues, emergency stops. But no, not just for that. It also serves another function. No matter where you're in Mexico, that shoulder of a highway is used for slower driving cars. Now, they don't have, like Mexico City different. TJ Tijuana they have big freeways and byways and all this kind of stuff. But if you're going down to small areas and you have these little stretches of road, like Puerto Penasco, if you're going down a Mayan Palace, that's a one-way with a very little shoulder, if any. But you'll find down there, and this could be pretty shocking to you if it's your first time down there, slower cars. Now, why is that? Well, they want to give you courtesy. They don't have a 5-lane freeway, like you do in your big cities like that. So just know these slower vehicles, and trust me, they're slower vehicles, which means that guy driving that car, that's his life. 1998 Nissan Altima spewing whatever from the tailpipe, that's his life. And that car may not go more than 40 miles an hour. He may have a partially clogged cat. He'll get to it when he gets to it. There's no EPA, this essentially, like we have here when we talk about cats. So just be aware of that third lane. Now, here's another one. You get down there. For the most part, like turn signals are not really observed. I mean, I did. I tried to, because it's habit. A lot of you go down there, use turn signals. Now, if you're on a freeway down there and the car in front of you turns his left turn signal, you think he's going to make a U-turn or something. No. What he's telling you is you can pass me. Follow? So, because there's a lot of that going on. Everybody has their mindset. They're not doing the speed limit. It is what it is. It's not always prosecuted until it does. We're going to talk about what happens when you exceed the speed limit. But that guy in front of you doing that left turn signal, he's just letting you know, hey, pass me. He may pull over, right? Again, that auxiliary third side lane, slow it down, and you pass. Rebase, if it says no pasale, no go, don't do it. Like Mexico's real. Like we have over here, they'll let you know about a sharp turn like ahead of time. Mexico, not so much. I mean, you're going to have the arrows showing you, but it may be, oh, snap, it's happening right now. So be very careful. Look, the bottom line is a lot of you are in a rush. And I think down there, you really got to respect the laws and safety more than anything. A lot of you think it's Mexico. I can get away with it. Well, maybe you can. But what if happens accident, you end up killing a family? It happens. And by the way, driving at night, risk on for everything. Now, you would think, well, what do you mean everything, Frank? What's going to happen at night? Like I'm in the dark. I'm low key. I'm laying low. What do you think? I'm going to test you on this. I know you've never been, but Aiden, why do you think in any foreign country, well, we're talking Mexico, even here, I'm driving through, let's say, Yellowstone Park at night. Now, Yellowstone's going to have a lot of rules. They probably shut the park down. I've never been out there. But what do you think would happen at night? In the middle of nowhere at night. What's your first reaction of what could happen to me as a driver?
I would probably say animals are coming out on the road.
You're spot on, dude. I thought you were going to say criminal element.
No, because I've had animals come out in the middle of the road while I was going to the Walmart down here.
So I'm just telling you, a lot of you are not thinking because you're excited, you're going to the beach. No, you had animals by Walmart, you just said?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean, kind of little cats?
Coyotes, actually.
Out here?
Yeah.
Really?
Not in this particular area. It was out in Chandler.
Oh,
I was on my way to a Walmart, and there was a little family of coyotes.
We saw coyotes in Mexico, and that's you just got to be. I mean, they're opportunistic,
Now, was he chasing a roadrunner?
Oh, well, there you go.
Was he chasing a roadrunner?
Beep, beep, all that exists. You never know. Yeah, you never know. Desert Cartier Cave Creek, our place up there, it's beautiful. I come into the garage in the morning, I got roadrunners. I know a lot of you laugh at. You live in areas where they have, here in the desert, they have roadrunners. Oh, yeah. Some areas don't. Like I'm in Central Phoenix. We have cockroaches. We don't have we have roof rats. Out there, they got pack rats. But so that turn signal, just be aware of it. they're giving you courtesy, and you'll find that people can be courteous. If someone's acting a fool, it's typically one of us from stateside. I'm sorry. I'm going to just say it. You're trying to pass my family. I'm driving at a speed I'm comfortable. And you're arguing with me. You're like, well, Frank, you need to move over because I'm trying to get to where I got to go. I get that. And we'll try to do that. But these cars will come flying. So just be aware. One of the biggest causes, it took me years to realize this because I saw the people not observing the sign law like I thought I was. Alto means what? Stop. Stop sign. Octagon, red, alto. What do you do when you see alto? Well, you stop. Right? Stops.
Hopefully.
Stop. That's what we do here.
Hopefully.
Well, listen, in Mexico, if you see that alto and there's no oncoming traffic and there's no one around, for the most part, maybe one or two, nobody behind you or nobody coming to you, you can drive through it. That is the way it is. You can drive through it because one of the biggest accident factors is making the alto when you don't need to make the alto. So that I thought was odd.
Huh.
Alto means stop. Now, if I'm in the border town, I stop at everything. I'm like, something wrong with my car slow. Like, I go slow. That's just me. Because I got stopped. We're going to talk about what do you do if you get pulled over? How do you handle that? Are you going to court? Are you doing a little street action, cash, bang, bang? How do you handle that? We're going to talk about that. So be aware of that. Alto in Mexico, yeah, it means stop.
But it's more of a suggestion.
But if there's no traffic, you roll right through it. Now, if you're in a small town and there's pedestrian traffic, like, be careful because, like, not only do you have kids and dingo, you got dogs down there. Dogs, big deal. In fact, shout out to, I think it's Barb's. I'm going to look this up. If you're in Mexico, this would be really cool if you can support Barb's. I'm going to look at it. Barb's, Rocky Point. There are so many dogs. I think it's gotten better. Stray dogs, lost dogs, just unwanted dogs. Barb'sDogRescue.org. If you go down there, support, bring a bag of food, $5, $10. Because what she's doing, she's trying to, her and her team down there. I have not been, to be honest with you. My wife has donated some stuff down there. In fact, maybe next time I make it a point to just stop and hang out, see what she's really doing. But everyone that's going down to Rocky Point knows. And you should do that in any small town in Mexico. I think we need more of a charitable heart. Doesn't mean you got to give big money, but you should give a couple bucks. In fact, part of your budget, if you're going down with $300, I'm just pulling a number. Some of you are like, nah, Frank, I need more money. If you got $300 cash and you're going to have, that's your fun money, why not $10 towards some straight up charitable?
That's fair.
That's huge. Now, if you took Memorial Day and you got thousands of people, that could help sustain that.
Oh, agreed.
Some of you just want to spend it all on booze, whatever. But why not spend a couple bucks? So that's one of the biggest cause of accidents. Drinking and driving, that's universal. Don't be that fool. Because in Mexico, like, it can happen and people drink. They're having fun. They're doing their thing. But don't get redunculous. You shouldn't, not in this day and age. And they do have taxis. A lot of taxis. And if anything, I noticed down there this past trip, a lot of little taxis. So that told me that there was commerce. There's a business happening. Taxis. That's like a good economic indicator. How many taxis in a turista area, right?
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong?
No.
All right. So speed bumps is another thing at night. We talked about animals getting crazy at night. What's the name of that song? The freaks come out at night. The animals and see the thing about those signs down there, those animal signs. Over here we have elk sign. Watch for elk. Next sign, maybe we see watch for whatever, deer.
Moose. Something like that.
Moose. See, Mexico, and I get it. It is what it is. I got to respect it. But that one sign has chipmunk, has deer, scorpion, has a lot of animals on it, like this group, and you drive by. Just know that at night, the animals are active. And if you're driving, I hit a dingo. I had an old Chevy Tahoe. My family was sleeping quietly. Maybe one of them got up. When are we going to get there? Whatever. Slap them. Go back to sleep. but I hit a dingo or a coyote. I could never determine. But I'm driving the Chevy Tahoe, right? And it's hard, people, because you get distracted. You're in the zone. You're listening to music, whatever. But I knew enough. I had just enough time where I said, oh, no, I can't swerve. I'm doing 60, 70. I roll this thing over. It's good night, Charlie. So what did I do? I accelerated because I knew this. If I'm going to hit this animal, just me, I'm just saying, no slow death. That's how you got to think. Like, I'm going to hit him.
True.
He's done. I'm sorry. God, please help me. But I didn't want him dying for days in the rearview mirror. That's how it went down. So you have to be careful. And a lot of you've experienced some of that. And thankfully, my Z71 had big grill, brush guard grill. It's like, I don't know, whatever year was it, 2011, way back when we was back, whatever year it was.
So when you hit this thing,
it was bang underneath. I had all the skid plates underneath, so it didn't do much. I had a little damage to the brush guard. And he was probably, I'd guess, little 40-pounder, 50-pounder, little dog.
So did you just tell
dingo.
your family that you just missed a speed bump?
They slept through it all.
Oh,
And then when I
wow.
got down there, I didn't want to wake him up. Hey, I just killed an animal. Like, no.
Wow.
I could have said, hey, I saved our lives, because that could get ugly.
That's true. And that was quick thinking, though, too. Like,
No, man, I don't know where it came from. So it just, be careful. I cannot tell you more. And at night, the freaks come out, so just be careful. I mean, you could be with a big posse and everybody look out for each other, and maybe that changes things, but you still got to look out for what's happening, by the way, the animals and everything else. Speed bumps, watch it. Topas, they're huge. They're huge, people. We have speed bumps here. They're considerate engineers of our suspension. They consider, I don't want to blow the guy's suspension up. I want to blow his shocks or struts. But those topas, which is speed bump, is huge. It's big. It's like pyramid, like big. So you slow down. And a lot of them at night, one of the other things you got to be careful, unless you are on a toll freeway style. In other words, you're paying for that extra added average American highway kind of thing. If you're not paying toll, there's a chance there will be random, holy cow, why would they put a speed bump here? And you're doing 60. And not always is there a sign. So you got to be careful. So a lot of this you can study before you go. Obviously, this show we cover so much, you're going to do your research online, locals, what to look out for. There's plenty of that online. But the free highways, essentially, in Mexico can be full of these sort of speed bumps, and they're scattered all over the place. And some will let you know, hey, and you'll see it. Looks like a pyramid. Hey, what is that? Oh, that's a speed bump. So be careful, because if you have a weak suspension, especially passenger car, yeah, you're going to come in my garage, and we're going to have to do some suspension work, and you're not going to be happy. So I want to cover some of the scams. Gas station scams is real, people. When you get down there, just be cautious. There's several ways you're going to be cautious. You make absolutely sure they zero out those pumps. Someone else is leaving, you're coming, and the guy, remember, it's full service. These people have to make a living. They're getting tips and things like that, okay? They put the nozzle in the thing, you make sure it's at zero, because if not, they get funny business with how much they put in. That's number one. Slow it down. In fact, what you could do, because your kid's got to use the bathroom, wife's got to use the bathroom, whatever, hubby's got to use the bathroom, have one person go out before you approach and check it, because it happens fast. And it's enough to where, okay, you filled up, but how much of that was remnants of the last? That's number one. What's the likelihood of that happening? Well, it just takes one time. That's all I'm saying. It can happen. It does happen. So make sure they're zeroing out that pump. The big name companies like Pemex, I've had good experience. I don't want to bring names up. It can happen anywhere, but I use Pemex. They seem to be good, but you still got to be careful. Double charging your credit card, that can happen. And then they blame it on the machine. The machine is a problem. And then you may not see that money back. So be careful with that. That's something that you got to watch out for. Now, here's one that I've never experienced. But if you're paying in pesos, and let's say you got 500 pesos in that bill, whatever you're paying, let's make up a number. You're driving a big rig, let's say you have 750, 800,000, 1,500 pesos. You put a 500 peso bill in there. They come back and they say, oh no, you didn't give us enough. They changed it out for a 50 real quick. So here's what I'm saying. When you're paying your money, make sure you take your time and you physically are counting that right then. Don't just give them a lot of money, come back, and that's that. Because that's another scam. They take a 500 pesos, they come back with a 50 pesos and say, hey, no, we need 45. We need 450 more. So be careful. Pay slowly. Make sure you keep an eye on it. Lastly, I'll say if you are going down there with your, let's say you are able to withdraw $700 a day or so, I'd call the bank and limit it to 200. If something were to happen to you and you play the, hey, I don't have money game, they know you got debit cards and there are banks. They will send you to the bank. It gets a little ugly. Limit how much you can pull out. You're not being kidnapped. That's not this show. It's not a kidnapping. But if they play hardball and you, hey, this is my limit, in and out. So just be aware of that. Some of you may want to limit. I know it can be a pain in the butt because you want to go down there and party and you want to have access. Most of your all-inclusive towns, Cabos and things like that, you don't have some of these problems, although periodically you can. I'm talking about traveling deep in some of these small towns. Get through those small towns so you can get to your beach destination if you choose to drive. Of course, San Felipe, Puerto Penasco, Tijuana, those sorts of areas. That's about as all I can give you. I know there's a whole lot more. I really need you to put in your tips. A lot of people go, I want to help as many people. I know we covered some things, some basic things, but wrenchnation.tv, you can get in there, comment or reach out to us all over social media, Wrench Nation, and certainly down on YouTube when we get the YouTube video up. Aiden, you ready to go to Mexico now?
Absolutely.
You may make sure your car's reliable.
We'll see about that.
Don't take the whole bank account either because you spend it the wrong way, the right way, all kinds of way.
Oh, yeah.
Budget yourself. I appreciate you guys hanging every week right here from the East Valley Institute of Technology, Wrench Nation. As I tell you every week, be safe, hug each other, and never forget to hug a mechanic.